talk about your product that you do. Tell us about that.
Give
that a rundown.
We are distributors for Herbalife Nutrition. They've been in the business 41 years now, and we sell over-the-counter meal replacement shakes, which are very healthy for you, 24 grams of protein, 21 vitamins and minerals. They're really good. The other kicker we sell is the teas for your metabolism booster. They are all the healthy energy, none of the crash you get from a Red Bull or a Monster or anything like that, and all the energy, none of the stroke.
All right, so how did you come in contact with the product to get in with the business?
A few years ago, I walked into Jesse's shop because I was overweight, like severely, and I had gone to the doctor, and it was the last straw. So I walked in there, and Jesse told me everything about it, and I said, well, I'm kind of looking for something solid, and then I had to go to the doctor, and then I went back the next day, and after I tried it, I just had an awesome afternoon. I felt good. I had energy. I hadn't felt better in a long time. So.
Okay, so outside of the shakes, what else are the products that you have in?
Oh, we've got everything from multivitamins. We promote cellular nutrition, so we have a cell activator to help fix damaged cells. We've got everything from circulation, heart health,
menopausal health, PMS health, skin care, shampoo, conditioner,
conditioner, skin care,
acne care,
cleanser,
yes. Yeah.
Pretty much, if you got a need, we got something for it. Herbalife does not guarantee this will cure or anything else. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer.
All right, so when you started on the program, was it hard making the shift from doing a shake for a meal versus having the meal that you typically would have had at that point in the day, or what was that transition like for you?
Well, the first one I had, I was actually, by the end of the shake, I was actually surprisingly full. So that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was getting over my own head, really, and
Yeah. What was the toughest part about getting over your head?
The toughest part? I'm still not over my head. No, it's just
wanting the comfort food, you know what I mean? And you're so used to having that food that's comforting, and then you go from that to a shake and trying to, even though this stuff, the shakes taste like a dessert in a cup, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just total different. And I know it took me a little longer than it did him, but then I can tell a difference when I don't have my shakes and I eat food. I feel like just, ugh.
Yep. So you went into the program, you started using it, started doing, following the plan like you should and all of that. How long did it take for y'all to start noticing some kind of a difference personally? And what was that difference? Was it the weight loss? Was it a change in eating habits? Or what was it for you?
I felt better. Like I said, the first time I tried it, that afternoon, I had an amazing afternoon. I felt it pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
What I did notice about 2-3 days later that my pants started fitting a little better, because I was at that point where it was about to go up to like 44s, 46s, and I noticed. And then it was funny, I put a pair of shorts on the other day. I got married in those shorts. I put them on, and I stuck both of my forearms down the front of them, and it works.
Yeah. For me, it was a change in the way that certain foods tasted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like after I had been on the program for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, tried like a sweet tea from Bojangles or tried something like that, and it literally was disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And even still now, there's no way that I could. All right, so you started using the product. What were you doing at the time for employment?
I was a body man at Tilly Brothers Body Shop. Great people. And I yeah, it was. I was a big dude, and I was doing a hard job. And when I ended up switching jobs, started working on big rigs, that ended. I got laid off there, and I believe 2 weeks later, that Saturday, I'm in Jake and Sam's shop in Lillington, and it says, this place is packed. It is full of people. Everybody's waiting for their shakes. They're waiting for their teas. And there's a little card that says, you can do this too. Ask us how. And so I asked them how, and 5 months later we signed a lease, and we are here.
Yep.
We're here. We're coming up on year 1.
I was going to say, on your Facebook feed, I think it was yesterday, I think it was in your profile, in Mindy's profile, where you posted a picture of 1 year ago today, and this place was nowhere close to being put together. There was a shell of the frame of the bar that was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So in getting to that point, right, of taking that picture, what were you doing before your empire here?
I was director of operations for a nonprofit for 8 years.
All right. So what made the both of you decide to go from work that you were skilled at, gainful employment, I'm assuming, to saying, let's open up and start a business. Let's take the plunge and go for it.
It just kind of worked out that way. I mean, I quit because of stress and had enough, and then he got laid off, and it just kind of, everything fell into place. I mean, he started looking around and saw this place was for rent, and pieces just fell, and it was meant to be.
Whenever I would work for someone else, I would always see things that I could change and I could fix, and that was never on my, I wanted to work for us. I wanted to work for ourselves. And don't get me wrong, I love all the people from my old jobs. It's just, it's time for me to do me, boo.
Yep. Okay, now you said that the previous employment, stressful and that type of stuff. Is that to imply that since in the almost 1 year that you've been here, that this has been stress-free?
No, it has not been stress-free, but way less stress.
Okay, way less, but is there a difference in the stress?
Yes, because it's something that I can control.
All right.
That, in a sense,
does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's stressful, but it's less stressful. What's the best way to put this? It's different being stressed working for somebody else than it is being stressed when it's your own baby.
Why is that?
Because you really don't. When you're working for somebody else, you want to produce and you want to, win for the team, but they're not going to pay you anymore whether or not they're making more money or not. I mean, some employers do, but like our mother company, we do well, they pay us more.
So the outcome of the stress is different.
Mm-hmm.
The payout. Mm-hmm. I guess you could say the return on that interest, the interest that you're paying to push through the stress and to get to a resolution to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, so talking about stress, what would have been one of the bigger challenges or stressful moments that you faced over the past year in getting to where you started and where you're at now?
Karen. No, I'm just kidding. Ask me that again. I'm sorry.
All right, so we're talking about stress. What's been one of the more stressful moments? Still going. Light just died. What's been one of the more stressful moments that you've experienced as a business owner that you've had to overcome in that short, almost year that you've been in business?
I mean, the only one that really sticks out to me is if there have been complications with our events. That's one of the most, something doesn't go quite right, somebody doesn't show up, nobody calls you back. That irritates, but it's go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, I think like right at the beginning when we were about to open and when we were trying to make sure everything was going to be good for opening day of just like scrounging around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but we pulled off a great day of opening, and so that we overcame it that way. It was just a little stressful there at times. That's a big one for me.
How do y'all manage your stress?
Well, sometimes, I mean, we just need a moment to woosah. You know what I mean?
That big hole in the brick wall out back?
Yeah, right.
One thing that really helps me is I listen to a lot of motivational stuff in the morning. That kind of, it helps to build your backbone, and it kind of under the table trains your subconscious to think the right way, think the way that you're in line with, and you can modify it every slight way depending on who you listen to. And
anyone in particular that your go-to?
I'm a Jim Rohn fan, not just because of his Herbalife, but I mean he says things like don't wish things were easier, wish you were better, and what's one? How does he do it? He's like, time, you can't make more time. You try to make more time, and they'll throw you in the loony bin. There's what was that one I played for you this morning?
I don't know. I was making some good points about you got to take risk.
Life is risky. You're never going to get out of life.
Yeah.
Yep. So what about one of your bigger successes that you can look back over and say, wow, I really can't believe that happened?
I think our first open mic night and our first strolling and cruising. And then it just continues to go from there. But I think the first ugly sweater stroll, because we were the only ones doing anything during that time.
COVID was shut everything down, and the town had to cancel all the town events for Christmas. Everybody we talked to was going nuts, just from having to stay home. And we were like, well, hey, let's do something. And hey, can we use the depot? No. Can we use the park? No. And the mayor says, well, why don't y'all set up on the sidewalks in front of your shops and have a walkthrough or whatever. And so we were like, okay.
So I mean, just starting the community events, I think that was the biggest accomplishment of bringing the community together.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good opener to the next part, especially if I wanted to interview you guys, is that community connections that you guys have made within the past, not even quite year. Mm-hmm. Just July is your official 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start by telling us, what are the events that you have currently that come up on the calendar?
Okay, so we have our open mic nights, first Friday of every month. Everybody comes out, drinks healthy stuff, and I'm sure we'll get a shot of the stage back there. Come out, and everybody's okay. We did our first one in February. Thankfully, we're in Harnett County, and nobody was wearing a mask. Everybody was able to just come in and take a deep breath and enjoy something they hadn't been able to enjoy in the past year. We've got the Ugly Sweater Stroll. We do a game night for the local kids in the community. They come out and we do a Mario Kart tournament, Wii ping pong tournament, something like that.
Third Friday of every month, but that may get switched to a Saturday.
It might get switched to a Saturday. And then we have our Strolling and Cruise In, and we partnered up with Whole Vet, and they handle transitioning veterans from service to civilian life and try to help prevent suicide, because it is a transition unlike anything that you can imagine, especially from somebody who's seen the battlefield. And they work with the vets to help bring them home and get them back working safe. And so that's who we partner with. For our vendor strolls last Saturday of every month, we set up vendors, and everybody who's been at home for the past year and picked up a craft or a cricket or something like that's got something to put out there, and everybody's got their own unique style, and it's just really great to see.
All right. Any other community events that y'all do? I can't remember. I think you covered them all.
No, it's just the 3.
We do everything we can to stick our nose in anywhere we can, because if you don't have the community.
Like this Saturday, we're having a self-defense class. We got a buddy putting that on. Yeah.
So now, obviously, when the events are happening, you're open for business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how much of the angle is it that you are doing the events as a tie-in to push to sell your product versus it being a tie-in to bring community together? Does that make sense?
The main, if you focus on the main tie being the community, the other one just goes with it.
Yeah. And that was the point I was hoping that you'd bring out, because a lot of times you go through some of the other towns and some of the other businesses, and there's the no loitering, and if you're not buying something, we like teenagers, we don't want you to hang out here.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of the small communities that we see in Harnett County and the neighboring Wake County areas is that there's not a lot for youth to do. But like in the preview clip where I've toured your shop here, there's a game center, there's a music center, there's board games up front, there's a lot of those things. And when I've been in, I've seen the youth in here just congregating and all. And I believe that you're so right that a lot of times as business owners that they have to protect the product image and things like that naturally, but then they lose sight that we need to make that community connection. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that even as young as you guys are in terms of your business, that you've come out of the gate swinging on that, and that's one thing that's been strongly missing in Angier over the past several years. Talking about the community connections and things like that, have there been any other opportunities as a result of reaching out, plugging in, and engaging the community that's brought to the table for you?
Well, we joined the Chamber of Commerce when we got here. Once they saw our involvement, especially with the ugly sweater thing, I was voted onto the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. I also got accepted as a board member for the Community Development Committee in the town. It's just gotten it's good to be able to be here and make a positive difference for a place that's, I mean, I'm not calling Andrew a bad place, but I'm saying that
right.
The COVID, not only that, a bunch of history for the town. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be making a difference.
I'm glad to call Andrew home.
Yeah. You starting to see that tide turn a little bit? I mean, because just the community and all, we went through a little downturn economically where businesses were struggling. Mm-hmm. Then COVID hit, businesses really struggled. Are you starting to see upturn in some of these efforts that you're doing that's kind of helping morale, I guess you would say, from that perspective?
Yeah.
Among your peers and other small business owners?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, there wasn't a lot to elaborate. Yes.
You're right.
No, I mean, it's good. Like, Jim, the Nicholsons down there at Brick and Mortar Grill, they decided, hey, well, we got this whole upstairs. Let's refinish the upstairs, make a coffee lounge place. And people are beginning to put back into it. Let's see, they're about to fix the sidewalks out in front of our shop.
Yeah.
They put a nice little walkway. It's going to have dedicated tiles from people who have donated. And part two,
since you remember what you said. How can I, as a small business owner with restricted time, tie in and connect with some of you guys who are the influencers within the community?
I think it would be good to, try to figure out the days that most of the businesses are closed. Usually here it's on a Sunday or a Monday, and then try to plan once a month like a business networking for everybody to get together, meet each other, talk about community events, anything, we could do to help one another.
Is there such an event? Is there any type of a network like that now for Angier?
Not that I'm aware of.
Knowing the business owners that you know, do you think that would be an interest to them?
Yes. Not all of them, but some,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and there's always that piece to it, right?
Karen.
Your best friend's Karen, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say the same thing, right?
Actually, we honestly, I don't know, it seems like everybody's going to talk about Karens. Like, we don't have many Karens.
No.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
All right, so a couple more questions and we'll wrap this up. COVID. So you had a good kickoff, had a great start. Your visions as new business owners, was very optimistic the last half of, 2020? And then, surprise, surprise, COVID comes and bites us in the backside. How has that impacted you?
In 2020, when it all occurred, that's
well,
when we
whenever
opened.
it hit, yeah, that's when you opened, and that's what I'm saying. Things were bright, things were optimistic, you were excited.
Opened. COVID hit before we opened. We opened a couple months after COVID hit. It happened in March.
Man, that just hit me.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what?
It's been a long year.
Actually, to answer that question, COVID actually kind of gave us the incentive to open the shop, to get started, because suddenly there's a global pandemic and you want to go sell nutrition stuff to make people healthy, with immune system boosters, so vitamins, minerals, all the good stuff. So it just kind of added to the dream and the satisfaction of being able to help.
Added to the motivation of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, add COVID on top of being a school teacher through all of that, and then dates and all is just a huge blur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't envy
huge,
you and the
huge
masks
blur.
and the walls and.
Any regrets?
I wish I had budgeted better when we were doing the build out. I think that could have gone a little bit better. That is my biggest regret. But it's okay.
Would you do it all over again?
Yes.
If you had to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.